Hey everyone, welcome to Average Joe Preparedness. My name's Rick, and I'm an Average Joe. Okay, today we're going to go over at least three things. Number one, I owe you guys a video. I told you I'd do one about eating food and cultural anthropology and what you will actually eat when you're hungry. So we're going to do that. It won't take very long, hopefully. Number two, give you a little update on the generator. I'm not making the generator video yet. And number three, there is a really big hurricane off the East Coast. So it's not slated right now to make landfall, but yeah. Anyways, it's a good excuse to have a conversation about it, okay? So those are the three things we're going to talk about today. Maybe we'll throw some other stuff in there. Don't know, but let's get started. Okay, if you're new here, this channel focuses on basic emergency preparedness first. Then it moves into practical preparedness, which is huge. And last, but usually least, worst case scenario, which is the stuff over here. There's a lot of other channels for that. You guys can head over there if that's what you're looking for. So basic emergency preparedness, practical preparedness, and then worst case scenario. But I owed you guys a video. We were talking once. I'm going to grab something off screen. Here we go. Edit your videos better, Rick. No. I'm going to grab this. And we'll start with basic emergency preparedness. This, I don't know if this is going to be backwards for you guys. This is a 72-hour survival kit by 4 Patriots. Now, InfoU, I do not endorse them, and I am not sponsored by them in any way. So let's make sure we're perfectly clear. If you've been here for a while, you know that. But I'm just using this as an example. I picked this up, and it was really cheap, which happens once in a while, and there's reasons for it. We can talk about that some other time. Yes? Yes. But since I have it, I'm going to use this as an example. Let me move that out of the way. It's warm here. Let's get a little air going. There we go. That makes me feel better. Okay, so I was talking about food. And I went over this. I was showing different kinds of emergency food that you can have. Camper food, I think some of them I call them sometimes. But it's dehydrated food or freeze-dried foods for camping or for an emergency. And I thought about how there's some prepper channels out there. And they're like, this food sucks. And you need to only buy these foods. Because if you get this, you're going to be unhappy. Yes? And you're going to regret it and blah, blah, blah. And I said I was going to do a video about what you will eat when you are hungry. And hopefully back it up with some examples. Yes? So that's the reason I'm making this video. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about this, which I actually hadn't planned on, but I figured I just realized I should. Now, I don't want to get into the company too much, but if you do a little search on Google, you'll find out that some people say they take advantage of people's patriotism with the name. I'm not saying that either way. That they don't make their own stuff. What they do is they get stuff from other people and then they repackage it and send it out. And it's usually the cheapest stuff and it doesn't taste good and blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool beans. Don't care, actually, at all. But what I do care about is to have something. Something is better than nothing. And once in a while they have really cool sales like they did. And that's the reason why I picked up another one of these. Because that's 3 days of food. And you could say, and again, some content creators say, well, it's terrible food and it tastes terrible and you're not going to want to eat it and this and the other thing. Okay, guess what? In an emergency, something's going to keep you alive. You're going to eat it. Remember, oh yeah, okay. So disclaimer, I have eaten terrible things. I've mentioned this before in tons of videos. I'm not putting them up here. And so this is just my opinion. Everything I say on my channel is just my opinion. Yes? Yes. So for basic emergency preparedness, by the way, and we're going to go over this again. You guys know what this is. This is the recommended items included in a basic emergency supply kit. This is the one from ready.gov by FEMA. And the very first thing is water and non-perishable foods for a couple of days. You guys should go out and get this if you don't have it and look it over. So emergency food, usually for a few days you have what's in your house. But anyways, emergency food, camping food, 72-hour kits like this. It's better to have something than to have nothing. You with me? And when you're hungry, to feed yourself and to make your belly full, you will eat just about anything. Think of some of the stuff you eat normally. And somebody would say, well, that's not very good and that's not very tasty. But maybe not so much for emergency preparedness, but at the basics of practical preparedness, you'll find it's usually on lists for people to have things like salt, pepper, spices, whatever kind of spices that you use on your food, have extra. Yes? Yes. And the reason for it is simple. Because this initially probably doesn't taste that good, but you eat it because you're hungry. Let me tell you what, you throw on some salt and some pepper, or maybe some paprika if that's your thing, or some, hell, barbecue spice, or some soy sauce, whatever. I don't care. Whatever it is that you normally cook your food with, that you're used to, you can make this stuff palatable. You with me? Old school MREs, if you guys know, you know, they used to have a wee little bottle of Tabasco sauce. Seriously, it was like this big. It was cute as a button. You can't get them anymore. But that's because MREs are not the most flavorful thing. And a pack of salt, a pack of pepper, and a little thing of barbecue sauce. Let me tell you what, when you're hungry, you put that on there, you will eat just about anything. You with me? So, the reason I originally brought it up is because there's one content creator, and he's an affiliate link, and it's for this one freeze-dried food that does contracts with the government, and they have stuff like filet mignon and lobster tail. Okay, the guy who's telling you to eat that is probably going to tell you, no matter what, you shouldn't eat stuff like this. Hell, I'd be like, yeah, if you're coming to my restaurant and you're eating filet mignon and lobster tail, do not go to McDonald's, or whatever. You get what I'm saying? But don't have things blocked out because people say stuff like this, all right? Don't get me wrong, this is not my favorite. I've mentioned it so far, and if anybody's got any recommendations, things maybe I haven't gotten yet, I love MREs, by the way, is my best one for freeze-dried food is Mountain House. Not an affiliate, don't get any money from them, but that's the one I like the most. But there's still lots out there that I haven't tried, yes? So, yeah, I have my favorite too, but I'll eat this if I have to. You see what I'm saying? Like I said, I'll spice it up. Maybe I'll throw some rice on if I can, and I'll do stuff. So have something, and then you can work your way up. And if you want filet mignon and lobster tail and you can afford that, I got no problem with it. But it's usually not a place to start. Okay, now let me throw in that cultural anthropology. Yes, I took that class in college. It was pretty cool, actually. And we went over things like why different cultures have weddings and funerals, and why they eat certain foods, and why certain foods are called, like, I'll think of it. Hold on a second. You know what? I'm actually cutting the camera, and I'm coming back until I figure out what that word is. Oh, delicacies. That's it. So all cultures have delicacies. And in larger countries, like the United States, there's different delicacies because it's so huge. You see what I'm saying? Where people live over here, this is a delicacy. People live over here. It might not be just separated by countries. It's the cultures. This part down here and this part over here and this part over here. Everybody's got different delicacies. I want you to do me a favor. And usually the first things you think of as delicacies, initially, they're just gross. You see what I'm saying? They're terrible. So from a cultural anthropolitical point of view, we looked at a bunch of delicacies in different places. And you could usually boil it down to two things. Number one, you know why they call it a delicacy? Because it is terrible. It is terrible. But if you call it a delicacy, see what I'm saying? Then your palate's not good enough and you'd eat it if you were little pinkies sticking out and blah, blah, blah. You with me? If you go on the internet and you type in like, why are delicacies terrible? Usually you get these highfalutin answers like, well, it's just because it's not your culture and you're just not cultural enough and you don't understand it and blah, 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 yuckity schmackity. And okay, I took the class. We looked into the history of it, and delicacies are usually because there was nothing else to eat. Do you understand that? If you go back in the history of the culture or the history of that area, it was called a delicacy because there was nothing else and people had to talk themselves into eating it. Let me give you one big case in point most people know about, because I think it was like on Survivor back in the first few seasons when they had them eat stuff that was terrible. And it's like beluga, I don't know. It's a duck egg and half the embryo is formed and then you eat that. You with me? It's not even a whole chick. It hasn't been. Okay. No one can convince themselves that that is a delicacy and it tastes like light and fluffy, like a cheesecake wafer. You know what I'm saying? It's just, and it dances on the... No, it doesn't, okay? That's not what that tastes like. And then if you think about it, why would someone eat it? Well, think about this. If everyone around you is dying and they're starving, and someone dug up some of these and got them, and they started eating them, or they killed all the ducks, and they ate all the ducks, and the half-done eggs was all that was left. That's how it becomes a delicacy. Anyways, I'm talking about according to history. And again, I took this college class, and we went through and We looked at them all. The reason why that's a delicacy is because people didn't have anything else to eat. And basically, that's the root cause of almost all delicacies. I'll give you two more examples. I'll think of the country here in a second, or maybe I won't. But anyways, it's in Southeast Asia. I'll think of it. But anyways, there's a fruit. There's a fruit over there. And there's a $500 fine if you take this fruit, you got it in a bag, you're taking it home from the market, if you go on public transportation, because it smells like garbage. Literally, like a dumpster. If you stick your head in a dumpster and whiff, that's what it smells like. And I don't know if you guys know this, but most of what you taste is actually through smell. That's why when you have a stuffed up nose, nothing tastes the same. So anyways, it's a delicacy. It's a fruit that literally smells like a dumpster and tastes like it too. People will argue about it. It doesn't matter. Do you know why it's a delicacy? Because people had to eat it because they were starving. You with me? Let me give you one more. It's a little less. So in some Hispanic cultures, and I'm not talking locals ones to the United States, but anyways, it doesn't matter. They have a name for it, which I can't think of right now, but it's burnt rice. When you cook rice too long and it burns, and it turns into this crispy they gave it a name and they called it a delicacy. Do you know why? It's because you're not throwing it away. You have to get people to eat it because people were starving, not a lot of food. A lot of delicacies you'll find about people that are poor. You with me? Same diff. So go into any culture where people are poor and you'll find delicacies or foods that they eat in this area or whatever. Usually that's the whole reason that they were formed. Everyone we looked at, we got it down, and it was because people were starving and there was nothing else to eat. And it comes to like, there's fruits that aren't ripe and vegetables not ripe. They're not ripe. They're still green, but they have these recipes for them and they call them delicacies because if you left it ripe, someone else was going to steal it, but you had to eat it, or you had to eat it green because you were starving and you didn't have time to wait for it to get ripe. You guys with me on this? Okay, I didn't mean to trash anybody's view of life of what delicacies are, so you can forget this if you want. You can just go like, no, I don't want to hear it. Or you can look into it. You'll find the history of almost every single delicacy there is first off, they're almost all terrible, from fish eggs to snails to what the hell ever. And then you'll find where this is, there was a point in time in the past where people were starving and there was nothing else to eat. You with me? Or they were really poor and they were starving and they had to take stuff that nowadays, if you really looked at it, you'd be like, ugh. And if you put enough if you fry it, bread it, put enough grease gravy on it or enough spices or mix it up with something else, you can eat anything. Okay? I am telling you. Even this, which ain't that bad, by the way, guys. But once again, I've eaten terrible things. So I told you I owed you this video, and I'm just letting you guys know this is just for conversation or whatever. Okay? Yeah, delicacies. All right, hopefully we've covered what you will eat when you are hungry. And I know for a fact you will eat what you will sit around nowadays going, I would never eat that. Yeah, my happy horse's backside. I can tell you right now, when you're hungry, and I'm not talking about like I miss lunch hungry. I'm talking about like you haven't had anything to eat in 3 days hungry. Well, and you were active, you were living your life, you were doing stuff. Or you've barely had anything to eat for like 5 days or 7 days. You know, just a little, let me tell you what, that's hunger. And most people in the United States don't know what the hell that is, no matter what you see on the news and all that good kind of stuff. No. Let me tell you what, you will eat stuff. Yes? Yes. And that was the point. Was you don't have to go out and get freeze-dried filet mignon or lobster tail if you can't afford it and you're just overwhelmed. Oh my God. Start with something basic. Work your way up. Find what you'll eat. Find what you like. Find what you'll basically eat and then move on to stuff you actually like later on. Yes? Yes. Okay, now let's move on to the generator. This isn't the generator. This is just the book. This is the one I got. And I was going to make you guys a video, but I'm not yet. Do you know why? That's because I'm one of those anal retentive bastards. Fastidious, by the way, I think is the term, that when I get it, I want to get all the stuff. So I have orders in, the stuff's coming. First off, it doesn't come with the oil, so I had to look. Yes, I read this book. So what kind of oil for the weather I have here and what I'm expecting, there's a synthetic one. So I've got that on order, a brand new oil funnel for it, one that's flexible to get to it because it's difficult to get to with a normal funnel-ish kind of, and I want it to have its own. And let me see, what else did I order? Oh, I ordered a 10 gauge 20 amp extension cord that's 50 feet long because of where this is going to have to be outside, because you have to have it away from certain places. And I'm one of those guys that obeys the rules. Yes? Yes. I also got a really beefy 6 multi-plug 20 amps, and they've got their own little breakers. They're far apart, so you can put big plugs into them. And I ordered the cover for it, for when it's not being, I'm pointing at it, by the way, it's right down there, guys. When it's not being used, excuse me. So I get all the good stuff, then I'm going to actually start this up, because what's the point of starting? Okay, first I can't start up without the oil. Next thing is, if I start it up, it's not running on anything. It doesn't have a load. And if I got to start it up, I got to run it out there. It's got to be so far away from my house. So I need the cord. I'm going to run it off. I have a freezer out here in my garage. So a 50-foot extension cord plus the thing plus another extension cord. I'm going to rack it up and see how this thing does. What would I plug into it if the power was out? You see what I'm saying? Like a refrigerator, a freezer, heater, or air conditioner, depending. Yes? That's what I plan on doing. So basically, got to wait for that stuff to come in. I hope you guys can see that, because, and then I'll put it in a kit and it'll be just for this, and that's just the way I do business. So, or at least I try to do business. Yes? Try to do it right and not catch the things later on. Let's catch them up front. Yes? Yay. So hopefully that covers that. And yes, I did read this, and I highly recommend anytime you get something, you actually read the instructions. I'm one of those guys. So, and hopefully this generator works out for me. Yay. Plus I'm going to do, and then I'm still going to do it with gasoline, and then I'm also going to do it, because it's a dual fuel, I'm going to run it off of propane and see how that works. Apparently, usually you get less power output when you run it off of propane, from everything I've found. Not just this, but on any of the dual fuel generators. Propane doesn't have the same oomph as gasoline. Not many things do. Yes? Yes. Okay, tie a bow on the generator thing for now. Yay. Okay, and finally, there's a huge hurricane off the East Coast. And as of right now, it is not scheduled to make landfall in the United States. Down here in the islands, no, it's Bermuda. If you're on Bermuda, you need to leave, because best case scenario is it's barely going to miss you on the west side. And if any of you guys have gotten, I don't know how many people have had experience with hurricanes, but I have. And if you're in a hurricane, you don't want to be on the east side of it, okay? If it's passing you because that's where the feeder bands come. You guys with me? Because it rotates this way, and these feeder bands are coming up, and they are kicking the crud out of you, even if the eye misses you. So as of right now, Bermuda, it looks like it's going to pass. The best case scenario is it's going to pass on the west side. You're going to be the east side of it, and you're going to be beaten to death. Worst case scenario is it's actually going to maybe hit you. So, and it's huge. It's a monster. Let's just say it. So if you're in Bermuda, you need to leave. All right. So for everybody else on the East Coast, it looks like it's going to miss right now, but this is days and days away, and I don't trust that stuff at all. So, and it is a monster storm. It's huge. It's like in the movie kind of storms almost. You guys with me? Or the ones that want to, if people want to sell fear, this is the storm to do it with. So even if it misses you, there's going to be the tides, the waves that are being generated. So along the coast, there's going to be erosion and big things, and the piers are going to be, they're going to show pictures of piers crumbling and blah, 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 yiggity schmaggity. But if it moves just this way, just a little bit, you guys are going to get hit with it, and it's going to run all the way up the coast. You with me? It's going to affect people for miles and miles and miles. So do me a favor. Don't be silly. Start preparing today. All right? Don't be one of those guys. And I know what I'm talking about, because I've been through hurricane after hurricane after hurricane, and there's always those people. You know the ones I'm talking about. But if you want to be one of those people, okay, we'll chalk that up to Darwinism. You know what I'm saying? And somebody might be like, wow, Rick, that was pretty cold. Well, here's the thing. If you're going to sit there and have a hurricane party while it's coming at you, that's your business. That's your responsibility. That's your fault. You with me? For all you other people out there, you might want to look at, like, set up reservations for some hotel inland, the kind that got, like, you can cancel with no charge for up to 12 hours prior or something. So if you end up, if it misses and you're like, yeah, I ain't going anywhere, you just call, boop, boop, boop. Hey, yeah, I'm canceling my reservation. But at least you have a route to it, or 2 routes. And so you can go inland and have a place to stay, you know, potentially for a day or 2. What the hell? Who cares? It doesn't have to be a great hotel. You know what I'm saying? Make the phone call now. Set up the reservation. Make sure you get the ones that say cancellation up until so much. The closer, the better. You guys with me? And if you don't have an emergency kit set up, which I don't know why, I mean, apparently a lot of people don't. This is where you start. Go to ready.gov or FEMA. You're going to get this. This is where you start to get your basic emergency kit, supply kit started. Yes? And go like your cars right now. Check the tires. Check the windshield wipers. Make sure you have gasoline. Don't wait to the last minute. Get your home in order. If you're even thinking about leaving, get your home in order now and get ready to go. Pack your stuff up and put it off to the side in case that storm turns. Do it now. Oh, interrupted. Yeah, so lovely lady in my life. I'm in my garage. So, her garage? Our garage. So anyways, lovely lady in my life, she just came back. She went to make a run real fast for something. Doesn't matter. The garage door opens. And it's like, oh, what the heck? Oh, what's going on? I'm just kidding. It's not that bad. I just went over there so I could give her a kiss. But anyways, okay, so there's a monster storm. You need to be thinking about it now, please. I mean, I'm begging you. You know what I'm saying? I wish everybody was ready and everybody had an escape plan and everybody had already made their plans out and they're like, yeah, if it comes here, I'm going here. Gonna leave a little early. I got a place to stay. And I wish everybody had done that or is going to do that, but most people won't. All right? So be that person. Be that person that gets their house ready, pulls in all your stuff, and get ready to go. Yes? Not that last minute, jump in my car and take off. It's a hurricane. You know it's coming. It's not an earthquake. I think earthquakes are the only one that happen just like that. Even tornadoes, the storms, you can tell they're coming. Yes? Yes. Okay, who knows? Maybe in a day or two, as it gets closer, I might make just a hurricane video. And yeah, because guys, I've been through a lot of hurricanes. I think 5 or 6 at least. I call them named storms, but okay, here's the thing. I was from California, and there's a joke that if it's not a 5, I'm talking about earthquakes, on the Richter scale, it don't count. Anything lower than that, you just get used to it. And with hurricanes, if it's not a 3, you know what I'm saying? Then it doesn't matter. You get used to it. I get it. There's that normal, what do they call it? Complacency, normalcy bias, whatever. But I've been through tons of storms. Big ones. Let me see. Old school, let's go back. Opal and Aaron. We'll start with those two if you guys want to look those up, how big those were. So I've been through lots and lots and lots of storms. So I am telling you, hurricanes are, just get away from it. If it's a 3 or above, leave. Yes? Yes. All right, guys. Did I sound panicky at the end? Like, oh my gosh, hair on fire, you gotta run. I didn't mean to. It is what it is. It's a really big hurricane. If it comes up anywhere close to shore, it's going to be unpleasant for basically whoever's involved. And I'm just glad I'm not there. And if you are over there, I do feel for you. And I wish the best and I hope the best. Okay? But do me a favor. Please earn my wishes and my hopes for the best and get ready for it. Please? Yes? Yes. All right. That's about it from here besides the normal stuff that's going on. So I'm going to let you guys go. Yes? I hope this finds you well. I hope you are happy. I hope you are positive, and I hope for whatever is coming at you, you are being prepared.